Last week, we started doing something a little bit different on the Dave Ramsey Show. Each week, we're going to pull my daughter Rachel Cruz in with me here on the show for a segment or two and talk to parents, talk to aunts, talk to uncles and grandparents about how we can all make sure that the next generation is raised as money-smart kids. One of our sayings we've had for a long time, if you don't teach your kids how to handle money, they will end up living in your basement at 30 playing Nintendo. So you got to teach them. And so Rachel's here with me now, and today we're going to talk about teaching your kids about work. Yeah, that was a Ramsey kid thing. Yeah, we might not have taught you nothing else, but we did teach you to work, no doubt about that. So what, I never really asked you. I just kind of told you, so I'll stop and ask you this time.
Oh, you're so sweet.
What really helped you, what really helped you understand the importance of work? I've got my theories as to what we impugned upon you, but what really did work? What caused you to have the work ethic that you've got?
Well, I would say from as early as I can remember, we were working. I mean, this wasn't a choice necessarily. I mean, it was just a part of our lifestyle, part of what we do as Ramseys is you just work. And so that's how we grew up, and it wasn't really a discussion. But one great thing I think you guys did was put us on commission versus allowance. So you work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. And so learning that early on, I think, was great. Now that I have the association between work and money. Money comes from work. Money doesn't come from mom and dad's back pocket. And so implementing that, I think, helped us a lot.
I can still see a little Rachel or a little Daniel or a little Denise in my mind where we almost made a game of cleaning up the room when you're 4. And the money really wasn't the deal about it. But then the money was like a bonus. It was almost like, hey, we get to do something together. We're showing you how to do something. You get to clean your room, and we, sing some stupid song we made up or something while we're cleaning up the room. And the parents clean up most of the room when they're 4. And the kid cleans up a little bit, but the kid gets all the credits and the attaboys. And so we're creating a task orientation here. And then we would pay you like $1 for cleaning up your room and wad the $1 up and, put it in a clear jar or something like that. Yeah, commission is a word I grew up with because my mom and dad were in the real estate business. And, of course, Rachel knows that. And so I grew up in an entrepreneurial straight commission household. So I would put the whole world on straight commission if I could. And so, that's why I don't think we need a minimum wage. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. You work more and better and smarter. You get paid more and better and smarter. I mean, it's pretty cool. And that's how life works, really. And so I don't like this word allowance. Allowance sounds like welfare to me. And so, and I don't understand this. It's an entitlement kind of feeling. Why should a kid be given money just because they breathe and take up space? We take care of them. We love them. We buy them clothes, and they have food, and they have a warm place to sleep, and they're cared for, and they're nurtured. But this idea that I owe them money just because they hung out, that sets them up to be a really bad employee
Well,
later.
I think that's the key there is you're doing it to benefit them in the long run. You're building this foundation for them so they grasp this cause and effect, relationship, if you will, that work equals money. And so setting them up there when they're 16 years old and have a part-time job, it's not shocking. When they're going off on their own after college or after high school, they're not getting whiplashed by the world because they have this foundation under them that they understand, well, if I have to eat and buy food, I need a job.
Yeah, and what's weird is it does go over into other areas. It goes past just the economic thing of it. It's I wanted my kid to be the kid, and you guys are and were, that when you were at someone else's home and having dinner and you finished, you stood up, picked up your plate, and took it to the sink. You didn't think that the plate was magically going to end up in the dishwasher because there was a magical mommy who cared for everyone, and no one did anything except the mommy who was the slave of the house. I didn't want you to be that kid. And we've had kids come to our home that were friends of yours over the years growing up. And Daniel had a friend home just the other day with him. And the guy, how can I help? What can I do? And he picked up this, and he did this, and he picked up we were lifting something, and he was the first one there grabbing the end of it, and that kind of thing. That's the kid you want to turn your kid into, because that's how they behave at work later, and that leads to promotions and being noticed. And they're the ones, instead of going, how little can I do to get by in this life, what extra can I do to add value? And it comes down to something as simple as good manners at someone else's home is how it translates. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. I didn't want you guys to just think that allowance was what it was going to be. Have that connection between work and money is a big deal. But
I will say, I'll add in this for the listeners as well, is that there's a balance to this, for sure. I mean, you guys did treat us to things. I mean, you guys were not, it was not a boot camp for kids and money. It wasn't this black or white thing. You guys had really a good balance. And I think one great thing, a line that we always say is, too many rules is legalistic, but too much grace is enabling. And so I think you guys, there was enough teachable moments, enough opportunities for us to fall and make mistakes and learn the lessons of hard work and money and all of that. But it was not a crazy, strict household in that sense. I feel like that you guys did have a great balance.
Well,
overall.
Thanks. That was our goal. I mean, because the idea is to teach you, not to punish you, and not to create little robots.
Yes. And I've met parents like that when I travel and speak. I'll have a parent come up and tell me this kind of crazy story, and I'm like, oh no, you missed it. Like, your heart was good in it. Your intention was good, but it was kind of way over the line for a 5-year-old. So there is a balance.
Yeah, you really do. And so what you want to do is you want to provide a safety net. After a kid has worked really, really hard and they've done some things and they miss it by this much, sometimes you step in and you cover this much.
Sure.
But other times you let them suffer the natural consequences of mathematics. There's not enough. Or better than that, even though, would be the natural consequences of them not quite bringing it. They didn't bring their A game, and the natural consequences is you don't get to buy the item because you don't have the money. And so you learn this idea that money is finite and that you must, there is limits. You can't just have everything you want just because you want it. In other words, the access of the world doesn't run through the top of your head. And so my daughter Rachel Cruz is joining me for a couple segments as we talk about how to teach your child about the subject of work. We've just finished this new book, Smart Money, Smart Kids. It will come out in April. And we will start the pre-sale on it here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to give you a bunch of goodies if you want to pre-buy it. So go ahead and kind of get yourself set aside and think, hey, I want this thing, and if you buy it early, we're going to load you up and make you happy you did and that kind of thing. So, this is a top-of-mind subject, how to teach the next generation to be money smart kids. It's right top of mind for both of us right now. And we'll let you know more about the details on the book and everything. But it's stuff Rachel's speaking about a lot, and we're weaving into the Legacy Journey series when we're out live all across America. By the way, Boise sold out.
Oh, good.
Legacy Journey Live sold out for Boise.
That's great.
Entree Leadership is still available, but that one's coming up here in a couple of weeks and heading out there the first week, I believe, of September, of February, and so forth. And so talk about, Rachel, what you can do with recognition of a child's work in addition to money. How can you weave those two together to, and how did we do it in your memory as you're growing up, recognizing that you can, recognizing a good job, giving an attaboy sometimes is more powerful than money?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I mean, just the encouragement that you did something, because I think for the most part, kids, it's not natural for them to want to go and clean their room, for instance. And so, maybe having to direct them that direction, direct them that way and say, okay, no, this is what you're going to do. You need to clean your room. And doing something that they think that they're not good at, maybe something that they think is impossible and that, gosh, I just hate this. But after they get something complete, I think to anyone, no matter what your age is, when you complete something, there is a sense of pride of, wow, I did this. And then having a parent come along and give them an attaboy and say, hey, you did a great job. This looks so great. I mean, that just has to boost the self-esteem of anyone, no matter what your age is.
Cool stuff. Rachel Cruz, we're talking about kids and money and work for a segment or two here. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.